Mike Pachelli here, welcome in. For this lesson, I'll be talking about the Beatles' recording of Money, That's What I Want, that they did back in July of 1963. The song was written by Barry Gordy and his receptionist at Tamla Records, Janie Bradford, back in 1959. It's basically a 12-bar blues. It became a hit for Barrett Strong, reaching number 2 on the rhythm and blues charts. The Beatles found the record in Brian Epstein's NEMS record department, and about that, George Harrison has said, Brian Epstein had had a policy at NEMS of buying at least one copy of every record that was released. If it sold, he'd order another one, or 5 or whatever. Consequently, he had records that weren't hits in Britain, weren't even hits in America. Before going to a gig, we'd meet in the record store, after it had shut, and we'd search the racks like ferrets to see what new ones were there. Devil in Her Heart and Barrett Strong's Money were records that we'd picked up and played in the shop and thought were interesting. The Beatles had recorded the song for their 1962 Decca audition with Pete Best on drums, but it was a lackluster performance. They performed it a lot live from August 1960 to January of 1964, and they did it on a number of BBC radio shows, including Saturday Club, Pop Go the Beatles, and From Us to You. Plus, they did it on a few TV shows, Thank Your Lucky Stars, It's the Beatles, Sunday Night at the Palladium, and Big Night Out. July 18th, 1963, they're at EMI's Studio 2, and Take 6 is the best. They're playing and singing live, with the instrumentation being John Lennon on his Rickenbacker 325, George Harrison on his Gretsch Country Gentleman, Paul on bass, and Ringo on drums. And although everything you read says they played and sung live, there's definitely 3-part harmony on that background, so one of the lads did some overdubs. Also, 12 days later, George Martin did 10 overdubs to get the piano right, and including that introduction, which they spliced on later. The song was mixed on July 30th, and it appeared in the UK on the With the Beatles album in November 1963, and in the USA on the Beatles' second album in April of 1964. So that's the backstory. Let's get started. George is playing his Gretsch Country Gentleman on Money, That's What I Want. This is a Gretsch Country classic, and I got it going through a 1964 Vox AC30. The song is a classic 60s riff song, and the riff is basically just some, power chords, we'll call them. So you think like an E, which is a root and a fifth of E, and then a root and a third of a G, root and a third of a G sharp, root and a third of an A. And that's pretty much all the parts. But the main riff is like this. He goes from the E to the G sharp to the A. Then G to E. Again, G to A. And then G. So slowly it's But being the Beatles, there's 6,000 variations of that because they were very improvisational. So when George first comes in on the second measure on the end of 3, he plays a quick G to A. He goes, and then he starts playing the riff, but he varies it. So the first 2 measure he goes, then he does it the normal way, then a B, root and fifth of a B to an E chord, A to E, pound on the E, to A, to root fifth of a B, root fifth of an A, from a G to an A to a G, root fifth of E. B7. So let me play all that. Hopefully I'll make it clear. So on the second measure, after George's piano thing, George Martin's piano thing, it's 1, 2, 3. And that's the intro and the first verse. Now, on verse 2 and 3, there's slight variations, but I don't even think they're worth talking about. Just watch the my sound like, and you'll see what I mean. Very slight variations on that. But if you play what I just played, you'll have it good enough. Then on the instrumental part, which they no longer do 12 bars, they make it 8 bars for the instrumental. George sticks pretty much to the basic riff, and he plays it 3 times, and basically he goes like this. He goes, and then you're to verse 4. Now, in verse 4, the breakdown parts are the same, just changes a little bit on measure 4. So he plays again. And you can clearly hear he only plays up to the G string. Same thing on the A. Well, he gets the C sharp and A, sorry. E. Now, in this part, he's doing something different. He's playing like the root and the fifth of A, but he's getting a low G and playing like A7. So he goes. Okay? Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it clearer than I can say it or play it. But now we're to the outro. And on the outro, don't know what to do all these. I'll do that. He's messing around with that the riff again, but he changes it up. Like on the first bit, he goes like to an E to a G to an E. And then kind of the same thing. Then on the A, going from that A. Back to. B. So let me do that part of the outro. 3, 4. And then the last 12 measures are pretty straight. There's just a couple little differences. Here's the last, I'll just play it for you. The last 12 measures for the outro is like this. 3, 4. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it much clearer than I could play it or say it, but that's George's part on Money, That's What I Want. John is playing his Rickenbacker 325 on Money, That's What I Want. I've got mine still going through my Vox AC30. He comes in on the third measure and he plays pretty much, similar to what George is doing riff-wise. Root fifth of that E, root third of a G, root third of a G sharp, and root third of an A. Although sometimes he's just playing the low E string. That's neither here nor there. But when he first comes in, he plays with this. He goes, then to a B7, to an A7, and finishes the riff. To a B. Then E, A to E, E again. Now he's to an A7 and he goes E7, back up to a B7, A7, E7, and a B7 all downstrokes. Odd on that E7 where he goes like because he's singing. It's difficult to do that and sing. So let me do all that, the intro and a verse. It would sound like this. 3, 4. And again, slight variations on verse 2 and 3, but if you get that part, you'll be close enough. On the instrumental, a little anomaly happens on the very first measure. John accidentally plays a G note. He goes. So he's voicing that root and third of the A, muting the D string with his first finger, but he gets to the fourth string G. A third string G. So you hear. Then he continues. To a B7. And here he plays a straight B chord. So let me give you the instrumental part. I'll play it for you. 3, 4. Then on verse 4, he powers an E, but all 6 strings. A. And A7. Okay? Then on the outro, he's just wildly strumming as he's singing and screaming and pretty much just on a first position E7 chord. And I think it's sort of, the rhythm would be like, and just continue that out, actually 2 times. So the outro would be, to an A7, E7, B7, and the only anticipation is after the B7 to the A7 comes on the end of 4. So let me just play you that. And again, that's cleaner than he's doing. He's just wildly strumming, but this pattern will work for you. And he does it twice to the very ending. So I'll play you the last one to the very ending. 3, 4. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it much clearer than I can play it or say it, but that's John's part on Money. That's What I Want. I have put it together in a sound-alike so you can see how both guitar parts fit together, so please have a look at this. Well, now you see how George and John's guitar parts work together to make this song really rock. I suggest you download the charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com, learn both parts, play along with my sound-alike, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. And I really, really appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. And if you haven't, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, because that helps the algorithm allow more people to see my work. So have fun playing this great old song, because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. And until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.